Hello, Bethlehem. My name is Sue Larsen, and I'm very pleased to share with you today a part of my faith walk with Bethlehem. Recently, I joined with a group of other Bethlehem members in the reading of the book Dear Church. As much as this book was a bold call to action for our church to take steps around social and racial justice, it was also very much a love letter to our church. The book's author, Pastor Lenny Duncan, a Black preacher in our whitest of denominations, noted that he was drawn to our church, the ELCA, and fell in love with our church because for him, it was the answer to the question, is God real? As I reflected upon that question in my faith walk with Bethlehem, several experiences came to mind, and I wanted to share just a couple. My father and mother-in-law, Paul and Jerry Larsen, were long-standing members at Bethlehem. Sadly, for both of them, the end of their days were spent dealing with the realities of Alzheimer's disease. Early on in her disease, I used to bring Jerry to church at Bethlehem. The church, and most particularly Bethlehem, were core to Jerry's being. Even as so many other things were slipping away, she knew she was surrounded by love at Bethlehem. She loved coming to church, seeing her friends, singing the hymns. As her disease progressed, it became more and more confusing for her to come to church, so eventually we stopped coming. Jerry spent quite some time after that in the care of an Alzheimer's unit, sadly slipping further and further away. When Jerry was approaching her last days, it had been quite some time since she had been able to participate at Bethlehem and take an active role in expressing her faith. As she was surrounded by her family during those last days, it really seemed like there was some unfinished business that kept her lingering on. It was then that we made a call to Pastor Jay, who at that time was relatively new to Bethlehem. Pastor Jay didn't really know Jerry, he didn't really know our family, so when he received the call, it really was a call out of the blue. I remember when I placed the call to him, it was evening, and I imagined he was just settling in at home after a long day, settling in with his family. Within a half hour, Pastor Jay was with us. And I would really like to say a big thank you to Tammy, James, and Nate for your generosity and grace in helping to make that possible. Pastor Jay prayed with us and with Jerry, including her beloved Lord's Prayer, shared communion, and within a couple days, Jerry was able to let go and find peace. I have no doubt that this Bethlehem experience, the gifts of love and compassion so generously shared by both of our pastors, has served to make God real for countless other Bethlehem families in their time of need. Similarly, Bethlehem members have generously extended their love and compassion to me. When my husband Mark was diagnosed with cancer and added to the prayer list, while Mark is only a sometimes visitor at Bethlehem, and many people don't really know Mark, so many people came up to me and asked how he was doing and said they were praying for him. I'm happy and very grateful to say that Mark was released by his oncologist this past spring after being cancer-free for 5 years. Many thanks to Bethlehem for being that church through the beautiful care and servant leadership of its pastors, to the everyday response of compassion and care that you shared with me and so many others. Your response to efforts associated with homelessness in our community, taking steps forward around becoming a reconciling in Christ congregation, and really listening and learning about what it could mean for our church to take action around racial justice for people who are suffering in our community. In both large and small ways, thank you, Bethlehem, for lovingly demonstrating an answer to the question, is God real?